And we're live. All right. Good evening, one and all. Hey, I have two persons on the live. Good evening. My name is Night Conserver. All right. Today our topic is what options we have for zero light bills. Um, we have a lot of options. We had explored some when we did the battery test last last week. Yeah, last week we did the battery, not battery test. We did the storm chase. Um, Last week we did the parallel and series of the batteries. The week before we did the inverter test. This week now we're going to look on what options we have for that zero light bill. Um, the battery and the inverter is one way we can use. Um, there are other options. I will just explore one, two, three, four ways today. Um, there's one more that I have in mind, but I don't think I want to go through it without having a demonstration. So we're going to look on those four ways we can go zero. All right. The main thing that most of us would like to do is to go solar. We can go solar two ways. We can either use the panels or we can use a wind turbine. I'm going to look at the panel side of it. All right, now one of the ways that we can go solar is, and I'm going to give you the exact names and explain to you what these are. One of the ways that we can go solar is to use a battery system, and that is what they call off grid. It's I think if you think about it, off grid is an applicable name for it because you're really not on the power company system any at all. So you're off it. So they call this off grid. For the off grid, the little things that we set up here, that's an example of going off grid, where we use the batteries and the inverter and whatever it is that we're going to use to power that battery or to keep that battery alive. I think the week when we were speaking of the battery, someone put in the chat using an alternator, but we can't use an alternator if we're using it for our home purposes because the alternator is in the car. We can't have the car charging the battery that we're going to use with the inverter. So for an off-grid system, we're going to need a source that is going to charge that DC battery. Remember, we went through it already to tell you that the batteries are DC. And that battery being DC is going to send power to the inverter, which is now going to convert that DC to AC so that we can have power in our homes. Remember, I told you last week or the week before that our homes really use AC power. All right, so with that, like I said, we need something to charge our batteries. I'm going to give you a visual of what the off-grid system looks like. Now, the thing with the off-grid system is it needs an inverter. However, it's not the inverter like what we were showing or demonstrating the weeks before. The inverters that I was showing you the weeks before has this plug-in. It's not like that. It has similar function where it is going to convert AC to DC, but not like that. They, I must put it now so that you can understand. All right. I have some things here that I use off grid. So like the turtle pond that I have, it's off grid. So what I did, I set up a panel, a small, how big is that panel? For about, it's less than 2 feet, right? So I set up the panel and I lead that panel cord to a charge controller, and I'll explain to you what the charge controller does. So I lead that power to the charge controller, and I lead a power from the charge controller to my battery, then my battery to whatever inverter it is that I'm using, and then from there to the pump. However, I'm going to show you a picture and give you an idea as to what I'm trying to explain. All right. I'm not sure if you can see this. Can you tell me in the chat if you can see this, please? All right. Now, we have our panel here, the charge controller, the batteries. And even though you see they put the batteries like that, they will have to decide, depending on the inverter, how they set the battery. Either they're going to parallel it or series it. Whatever it is, they are going to get the required voltage that that inverter needs. So it's leaving from the solar panel, and you're seeing it, thanks. The solar panel is charged by the sun. There are some panels that are so sensitive that even the glare from the once it looks like it's daylight, then it can generate some power to charge whatever it is that you're charging, or to power whatever it is that you're powering. Now, the charge controller. The charge controller is what makes it possible for you not to overcharge a battery. Remember, you have a number of power coming in, and your battery needs not to be overcharged or too much power coming into that battery. It just need the required amount. So what the charge controller do is like it regularize it. It set it at a limit that look here, it can't pass this. My battery needs 12 volt. This is what my battery is getting. It will not give it a 24 volt or 110. No, it will give it what is required just to charge that battery. So the power is moving from the panel to the charge controller to regularize whatever power is coming in, and then it goes to the batteries. When it goes to the batteries, those batteries are charged. Then it goes to the inverter. I'll show you what this depiction of the inverter looks like. And this depiction of the inverter, it doesn't have that form of plug where you can just plug something straight to it. And what they do from that inverter is, majority of the time, this type of inverter is one that they affix to the wall. And they tend to put it near to the box with the switches, with the circuit, with the what they call them again. I still remember. But they place it near it. Sometimes they make it into a nice little cupboard and they put it in there. And that's the inverter. And then they lead the connection inside of that panel box. So whatever it is powering that panel box. So that when you need a plug, you don't have to go back to that panel box because there's no plug there actually. And you can just plug whatever it is into your home plugs, or you can just turn on a light switch and you're powered through this battery system. So the battery is what is powering your entire house. Any question? No. To determine the size of the battery, it's dependent on what you want to pull. And we spoke about this last week where we said, even though I might have a one battery on, not last week, the week before, sorry. Even though we may have a one battery on the one battery on the inverter that we had testing, we really couldn't put a lot of things on it. So even though the inverter would probably say it can carry, say, a fridge, I really couldn't plug that fridge on that one battery because that battery was of no use anyhow, and it did not have the cranking power to push something as heavy as my refrigerator. So therefore, if I wanted to operate a system for the entire house, I would have to look at what it is that I'm trying to run. So take for instance, for me, I have my CCTV, I have my internet box, the TV, the refrigerator, the microwave, um, anything else that I'm trying to power that I'm going to use, probably the washing machine at some point, and some of these things are not things that I plug out to use one. So it's not like I would plug out the fridge to use a TV. No. Probably the fridge is running and I'm watching TV. Or the microwave is running, the fridge is running. Or the microwave is running, the fridge is running, and I'm also washing. So it depends. So whenever you decide that you want to go this type of solar, which is off grid, you want to use this off grid solar power system, it first has to be decided what it is that you're trying to run. Majority of the times, people tend to use a company to do an energy audit, and I think the energy audit is being done. I think the energy audit is being done to just make it easier for you to tell the amount of power that you're going to need to be generated from these batteries. Sometimes some of the suppliers who are offering you this system, the off-grid system, they tend to use your light bill. However, and I'm going to say it here, and I will always say it. I tend to say it on my vlogs. In order for you to move to a solar power system, it's best that you correct any inefficiencies that you have. So if you're in the habit of leaving everything plugged in, it's best for you to start from now, conserve. Because if you conserve, then chances are you won't need probably the numerous batteries that these suppliers are going to suggest that you get. And I can tell you, the more batteries is, that's the more expensive it's going to be. So if you can eliminate some of your waste, get rid of it, conserve as much as you can, then you will probably get a cheaper system. So that's it for the off-grid solar power system. Remember that the off-grid solar power system is the one that uses the batteries. I honestly like the off-grid ones, probably because it makes me not rely on that power company, because honestly that's my sole goal, that's my aim, to be totally off their grid totally. However, because of the prices of the batteries, it poses a problem for me. The ideal, I was told, or I was informed, I also read about it, that the ideal thing to do is to use up only 50% of your battery life. To use up 50% of my battery life at the time when I wanted to go solar, it would have cost me a tidy sum. Hence, I did not choose this one. It's honestly a good way to go. It's honestly one of the easiest way to, not, I shouldn't say easiest, it's one of the nicest way to go, where you don't even have to worry about a light bill. What will happen to you when you use this type of system is you would use the power company like a generator. So in case all of your batteries go down, you can just switch over. And switching over, they will have to set up some form of switching mechanism for you to switch over that easily. All right. So that's it for the battery one. Any questions? I can't tell you a cost. I don't know the cost. There are persons or entities out there that set up systems or have systems in place that you can buy kits if you know someone who can set it up. So probably that's the easiest way to go. They also use your light bills to determine which kits are best for you. With the introduction of solar in our country or worldwide, it is quite disappointing that the prices aren't down as we expected it to be. I don't know why the cost is still up there. And the fact that we're a tropical country, we're not the only tropical country. However, some countries are making the move to go solar. The government has decided that we are supposed to be about 50%. We're supposed to be using about 50% of renewable energy by a particular year. I think it's 2030. So the plan is to move in that direction. Right now, we're using fossil fuel, and it would be good if we can make more use of the sun that we have here in our country. All right. So the next one that I'm going to explain to you about is the on-grid, or another word that they call it is grid tied. The grid tied system doesn't use any battery, any at all. There's no battery in it. So you're moving now from the solar panel onto, you don't have a charge controller here. The charge controllers are really for the batteries. So you're moving from the solar panel to the inverter, and then it splits. It comes inside to your home and it splits. And here's how it splits. It splits where it affects the meter. You see the meter that you have, that the power company would come, or they would stay from their offices and read it and tell you how much is your consumption for the month. It splits to there, and it also splits to your home. And this is what happens. Say you produce 10 kilowatts or 10 kilowatts of electricity for the month, and you only use, say, 5. The other 5 it would pass through that meter. Remember, you only use 5, you produce 10, you only use 5. So the other 5 pass through that meter. 2 things can happen. If you're not on a plan with your power company, then that is what they call dump. They get back the electricity that you produce from your panels, but they call it dump. They call it dump if you're not on a plan. So it's like them take the electricity for free. You're really giving it to them for free if you're not on a plan. If you're on a plan, then there is 2 methods. if you're on a plan, then there's two methods. There is net meter and there's net billing. The net meter works like this. We don't have net meter here in Jamaica. We offer, if you set up a plan with your power company, they have what is known as net billing, and I'll explain that net billing to you. So the net meter is, you see, like you have a bucket, a rainfall, and you put that bucket in the open air to catch that rainwater. You want that rainwater to water your plant, so you put it under you put it under just below the roof, so that when the rain fall, it catches into that bucket. The net meter is like this. It stores that electricity that you did not use, and it will give it to you when you don't have the reliance of the sun. So take for instance, now you're on the system, so in the day you're using all of this, but at nights you're not getting any power from that panel, so your inverter is not getting any form of power to transfer it to inside of that house. What net meter does is it stores it. So if you say you produce 10, and in the day you use 5. In the night, whatever electricity you're pulling is pulling from that 5 that you had left. So it's just like that bucket of water. You can use it whenever you're ready to water whichever plant you have without turning on your faucet with a hose. Understand? All right. Storm Chaser, the battery light that you have, I'm setting up something like that for the start. That's good. So you have, that is net metering. So net metering is, it stores whatever electricity or power you have that you did not use to offset or to use in a time when you really need that power. Good. Now, if you should go beyond that 10, then you're going to start using what the power company has. So it makes that automatically switch. But what net metering does, it offset. So if you use 5 in the days, 5 at nights, the additional that you have left in the day is going to be used in the night. If at the end of the month, say you use 5 in the day, we're talking about the entire month now, you produce 10 and you use 5 in the day and only 3 at night, that 2 on the net metering system is carried over into another month. So it is stored there for you. So the system recognizes that you have that additional 2 left, so you can use it at another time. The on-grid or the grid side solar power system looks like this. Remember I told you that it has the panel, the inverter, the net meter, it goes to your home, and then you have the utility grid. And the utility grid in this case is a power company. I have told you about the net metering. Now you have what we use here in Jamaica, we call it net billing. So let me explain that to you. In the first place, I told you that if you don't have a plan in place with your power company, it is dumped. So if you honestly only produce 10 and you use the 5 in the day, the other 5 is gone. You don't get anything for it. It's not offset for another month. That's it. Jamaica doesn't use net metering. Jamaica uses net billing. And I'll explain to you what the net billing is now. Now, for the net billing, it means that, so take for instance, you produce 10. So you produce 10 Why what? Why we don't use net metering here? Is that the question you're asking, Storm Chaser? I don't. Yes, you said yes. For the benefit of those who are not able to see what you have typed, yes, he asked, why is it that we don't use net metering here? I honestly don't know. I don't know if it is that they don't want to store anything for you. You know, some people don't like keeping things for you. So probably that's it. They don't want to store anything for you. So they just tell you they don't offer it. They offer net billing, and the net billing is like this. So you still produce 10, but in a day you use 5. So what the power company does is that additional 5, they buy it from you. The only downside to that buying 5 from you is you don't get the same rate as what they would have sold it to you for. It's a different rate totally. As a matter of fact, it's a lower rate. And that lower rate is paid 2 ways. One, it is offset against your bill, your monthly bill. However, if it is more than, if what they are paying you is more than whatever it is that your monthly bill is, then come 6 months time, all of that is added up and they'll write you a check. I have the grid tied system that I use here at home. My system is very small. I remember when they came and they did the test to see if I qualified for net billing, the gentleman said to me, if I know that I won't get back anything from the power company monthly. And I said, why? He said, my system is too small. I will end up using all of it monthly. In all honesty, I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him probably because I know what I use and I know how much I conserve. I didn't believe him. He stated that I would not see an off that significant offset monthly. I honestly didn't believe him because I'm the one using the system. So I was expecting to see an offset that I would not need to pay that amount of light bill monthly. They I've been on it now. I think May is coming. May coming will make it about 2 years. May or March, one of them will be about 2 years, and I have seen some significant savings. Some month I don't pay more than $1,000 on my light bill. It has been good. I know that if I had more panels, they wouldn't get sent out of me based on the amount of savings I have. And I think that amount of savings come from me not using that vast amount of electricity in the nights. Because remember, I told you that my system is on. I have the refrigerator on the timer. I hardly have anything running 24 hours, but yeah, I do have things running 24 hours. I have my CCTV running 24 hours, and that's it. If I take it off, then I guess they'll know, write me a check. I don't mind the grid tied system. However, it has its downside where if electricity is lost in my community, I don't have electricity as well. And the reason for this is because I'm producing electricity. If and when a worker should come, a power company worker should come and go on that light pole, whatever it is that I produce and is sending back to the grid, he can die as a result of it. So that is why the system is set up that if the electricity is lost in my community, then I lose it too. My system shuts down at that point. So it's a protective mechanism for them. I'm not sure for me, but it's a protective mechanism. The only downside I've seen to the grid tied system, not grid tied, the off grid one, the one with the batteries, is the cost of the batteries. The cost of the batteries can be a tidy sum. So that's only downside for now, but for the grid tied, the downside for me is if electricity is lost, then I'm going to lose it too. The aim, honestly, is to get more panels so that they start paying me some serious money. That would be good. Making money back. I have, just like everyone else, I have been paying electricity bill for so long. It would be good to get back something. And for me, that was my selling point in going grid tied, to get back something. You need to make the decision as to which one you would rather. All right. The next one that I'd like to tell you about is the hybrid. And the hybrid is, I don't want to say a link, but it's a combination, right? That's a good word. It's a combination of the off-grid and grid-tied system. So it includes both. It has batteries and it has the capability of net metering or net billing. So it's both. This one as well is going to have a charge controller to power it. Remember, I told you that the batteries need the charge controller to operate or to charge these batteries so that whenever you need it, it pulls from it. Now, this is how the hybrid system works. You have the panel or whatever it is that you're going to use to charge your battery, and it also uses the inverter. Now, from the inverter, then it goes just like the grid tied. It goes to the panel where it is split. So you have the net metering or net billing side, and you also have it powering your house. What the hybrid system does is this. Say you produce 10, right? As a matter of fact, not 10. Yeah, you produce 10. In the day, you're taking whatever power from that panel. So the panel is what is powering your house in the day while your battery is being charged. Based up on what you say, you have a little thing going for you in terms of using light in the night. Yes, using light in the nights, lights honestly don't give you a lot of savings, but at night I try to eliminate some of my reliance on the power company because I need to get some money back. So I try all that I can to conserve, especially at nights. All right, now back to the hybrid system. So in the nights, if you need any form of power, it's going to now pull from the battery. It is ideal for this thing to be set up really that it charges your batteries in the day. What happened is some persons have the hybrid system and they are complaining bitterly that the light bills are high. And this is what happens to some of them. The system it has this automatic switch out where it can tell the panels really when to charge the batteries. And if you set up that automatic switch out that it charges the batteries at night, then at night it's going to charge a battery from the power company. You have to set it up in such a way that it charges your batteries in the day. And whatever power you're pulling from that battery at night. For a hybrid system, some persons don't use a lot of batteries because they're expecting to pull less of their electricity at night. However, if the batteries that you have set up is not giving you that sufficient power, then it's going to draw on the grid. It's going to pull from the power company at night, thus you can still get an electricity bill. So you have to be careful as to how it is set up, this hybrid system. It's a lovely system. However, it can cost if you're not careful. You just need to know what it is that you need to pull from your batteries at night so that you don't use the excess from the power company. It also has, the hybrid system also has a net metering, net billing. Remember I told you that we don't use net metering in Jamaica. So it has that net billing side to it where whatever excess it is that you don't use, the power company can pay you for it. So like I said, it's good if you have the system in such a way that while you're getting your power in the day from that panel to power whatever it is you have in your house, use the AC, use your fan, use your refrigerator, everything that you can do in the day. At night, whatever excess that you need is coming from your battery, so that whatever excess you produce in the day, all of that can be sold to your power company. And you would not need to pull anything from the power company. So it would mean that you just get a check, because you're not using them any at all at nights. For this type of system, it's a bit more expensive than the battery one. I'm not sure why. Probably because it's a two-in-one. If you really look at it, it's both systems in one that you're getting the benefit of, but it's a bit more expensive. There are companies here that offers that type of system that you can use or purchase. I know I've heard of them. Probably the one that I use offer it. I have never asked them about it, as I was never interested in that type of cost. So I didn't ask. I know the company that I use offer the grid tied and the off grid. I guess it would be easy to offer the hybrid system as well. I am not sure. No, the thing is with the off grid system, you can use you it uses an inverter as well. However, please let me warn you, the inverter that we had here testing, those type of inverters, is not one that is used on those systems. It's not that. It's nothing even near to that. The inverters that they use is some huge inverters. It's big. It's actually bigger than the inverter that you would buy in the store. it is able to receive quite a number of kilowatts from the panel or whatever battery system that you have it set up on. Yes, guys, ask a question if you have any. It doesn't have to be relating to the topic. Once you ask a question, I'll answer. All right, so we did three. We did the on-grid, which is the also another name, grid tied, and that's one I tell you that I have personally. Then we did the off-grid, that's a battery one, the one that I was telling you that you need to use up at least 50% of your battery. Do you have the picture? Can show the inverter you have on the roof? No, it's in a vlog. I did a vlog on it, and it's in the vlog. It doesn't look nothing like the inverters that I was showing you. Nothing. Um, so probably you can. That's a vlog I need to remake over as well, so that some persons get the idea of it. So I'll do a remake one day. However, in the interim, it's a, like I tell you, it's a total different inverter. The Yeah, we did the on grid, we did the off grid, we did the hybrid. So those three that we did. It's really three systems, unless technology is going to come up with another one. The fourth thing that I would like to tell you about is using a wind turbine. So the three that I showed you, were using panels. Those are little flat things that they have on the roof. They affix it to the roof so that it doesn't blow off easily. Yeah, okay, you look fine. I can't remember the name of the vlog, but it's my very first vlog that I did. I think it was Dream to Reality, right? Um, so the next thing that we can do is to use wind turbine. And the wind turbine makes it somewhat easier. The wind turbine can be attached to the battery as well. The wind turbine can be attached to the off-grid or on-grid system as well. Um, it makes it honestly easier because some of the things that you would have gotten, you don't need it with the wind turbine. So take for instance, if you're using the panel, you would need a charge controller. If you're going the on-grid, no, if you're going the off-grid route, remember I told you that the charge controller is really for the charging of the battery, so it regulates whatever voltage it's getting so that it doesn't damages your battery. For the wind turbine has its own internal built-in charge controller. So all of that is in the wind turbine itself. The wind turbine will not be useful if you don't have that breeze blowing. If you have the breeze blowing, fine, it will power up and charge your battery even during the night. And that's a benefit of having a wind turbine, where you will be able to get this power 24/7 once you have that breeze. It's I think it's ideal, especially in some areas, probably in the country areas, once you're not under a hill. Especially in the country, it's worse if you're up on top of a hill. It would be a good thing to use. I know I pass in the evening and I'm seeing I wouldn't call it a mechanic shop, but it's like they do some auto repairs business over there, and they have a wind turbine going. It it must be giving them that power, because every time I pass, it's moving, and it moves. It moves. The only thing with the wind turbine, it will kill the birds. That's the only downfall. Your choice is the sun. Yes, your choice will be the sun, and you can go the sun route. However, please be mindful that you might have cloudy days. And like I say, some of the panels that they are making now honestly just need a glare. But the power that you would get from the sun is different from the power that you would get from that glare. And there's nothing that states that you get more power from that sun in summer. No, sun is sun. So if you're getting the summer sun, you don't necessarily get more power in the summer than what you would get in the winter. I know you get more power when you have the longer days, which is good. When you have longer nights, then it really shows. It shows for me on my light bill that I'm getting less sun. And you can see it. No, you don't have to get the sun. You don't have to get the sun, because if you have cloudy conditions, you're not going to get the sun. You might get the glare, but not the sun. And it shows with some of the apps, you have things that can measure the amount of power that you're receiving through your panels. And if you want a system, sometimes it's best if you ask the company that is setting it up for you to have that installed. It's good to just look at it sometimes, because sometimes it can assist you to make a decision as to if you use what, especially with my type of system, GridTide. I don't have that. That was one of the things that I regret that I did not get, that I was not able to monitor the amount of power I'm getting in. And monitoring for me would have meant that I would be able to look at it and decide, hey, I'm not going to wash now because I'm not getting as much. There are times when I'm getting so much that even when I have things powered up and using, then I'm still selling back to the grid. All right, back to the wind turbine. Now, wind turbine has its own charge controller. So you can just attach whatever it is that you get. You have to find the electrical cords for it. It doesn't come with the electrical cord. It comes with the piece that you can connect it to. So you attach it and send it down straight to your battery. Like I said, it has a charge controller already inside of whatever mechanism is in that wind turbine. I will show you one day. It has a nice big head. Like them, what call the fan? Like the fan that they have. I don't know if you would call it a roof fan. No, probably it's a standing fan, right? So like the heavy duty standing fan, so it has a big back. And in that back, I'm assuming that that's where the whatever mechanism is to charge that battery. So it has it, you send the cords down because it has to be at a height. You cannot have a wind turbine too low. It has to be at a height that it's getting the breeze so that it can spin. So you carry the cord to whatever it is that you're carrying it to the battery, and then from the battery to your, well, some persons use a wind turbine, so they put it to the panel, and that is what powers the house. For me, if I'm setting up a wind turbine, it will be powered from the wind turbine to my battery to my inverter, and I plug in straight. That is where I got the 1500 watt inverter. So the wind turbine would look something like this. So it's wind turbine. Remember I told you that the controller is inside of that wind turbine. Well, it's inside of mine, and then it goes to the battery, to the inverter, and then whatever load they're attaching to it. For this one, they attached the AC, the TV, the refrigerator, the laptop, and a fan. It can really pull the power once you have the battery that is required for whatever you're trying to power up. And the beauty about it is that because you have the constant breeze, your battery will maintain that charge and it will not be overcharged. That's the beauty about the wind turbine. I really like that. I really like that type of system. I do. And I think it's because of it being some form of off grid. Probably that's why I like it. I have known persons personally who use a separate system from the power company. However, how they set up theirs is they don't pass it back. They don't pass it back through the panel. What they do is reinstall surface mount switches from that panel. They reinstall surface mount switches from that panel to different areas in the house. So if they have a plug in the kitchen, they would have two plug, one for the off grid and one for the power company. I've known persons to set up that way, but for me, am I stuck? No. For me, I I can't manage the wire. I'm sorry. I can't manage that. I just want everything to appear as if it's normal or I'm using the power company. That's how I like it. So when I was doing whatever addition for the house, that was how I set it up. I set it up with the intention of going solar one day. When, if you should come here and look, you can't tell that I have solar panels. It's a bit impossible for you to see it. You can't see it. So you'll think I'm using the power company's electricity. I like it that way. I honestly like it that way. It makes it easier for me where I just plug in. But for the standalone system, I need to be somewhat off grid at home, and setting up the wind turbine would make me off grid where that is concerned. There are things that I have set up around the yard or the house that I tell you that's off grid, but I think I need a little more, and I don't like the wire thing. I don't like it. I think that's a pet peeve of mine. The whole heap of wire showing, and no, I don't like it. So some things I wouldn't do. So if I set up something off grid, you're not going to see the wires. It's going to be concealed in a way that you don't see it. Yes, Storm Chaser, it's nice. Any questions? It's it would honestly be great if all who have the benefit of the sun, if they could go solar, if it's even a little bit. Sometimes you don't have to start with a big one. You can start going solar incrementally. And it would be good to go solar so that you can let go your reliance on the people. Honestly, they in a way sometimes I think they are honestly getting out of hand. they're getting out of hand now because the light bills for some persons, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a bit difficult to. I don't like paying. My problem with them is I don't like paying money to one person for so long. I don't. I think I rather, if I know I owe you, whenever I'm ready for that thing, I'll take it and I'll pay you. That's my view on it. If I could have gone grid tied and prepaid, I would probably take that option as well. But grid tied don't go with prepaid. Grid tied go with postpaid. So I could not have gone that option. If I was able to get the option of grid tied and prepaid, then probably I would conserve more going prepaid because I know when I put on that money, I'm not putting on no more. No more. And especially for the times when I am not here, I'm going to make sure that I don't have any electricity passing through here. All right. Any question? It was an interesting topic tonight. Question. What do you think about prepaid though? It makes sense. Um, some persons say that they conserve, not conserve. Some persons say that they pay less. In all honesty, they pay less because they know they're not putting on any more money on it. And the same cost that the postpaid persons pay for electricity, that's what the prepaid persons pay. The only difference is $250 or 200. I think it's not 250. I think it's 258 that the prepaid persons pay for the, what do they call it? I think it's a customer charge, right? That's the only saving that a prepaid person save, that customer charge, but we pay the same rate. So if you put on $1,000 and $1,000 would have lasted you for a month, the only difference between the postpaid and the prepaid customer is that the postpaid would probably pay 1,258, while the prepaid person is they just buy that $1,000 top up and that's it. It's no grave difference. There are other systems that the power company have as well. I know they have something that they call the RAMI. I know they have something. It's not really a phone. I want to call it a phone card thing. It's not really a phone card thing, but they get, yeah, something like that. They get something to just top it up. So they have a box. The prepaid customers have a box, and they would punch in that top up that they purchase, punch it in when they're ready. I've seen persons who, when it is finishing, you will know. You'll be alerted. I think it has some either light on it or something can tell you that, look here, it's finishing. So they know. I'm not sure how much money it reached when they know, but they know. It is relayed to them from the box. To you, it makes no sense. I wouldn't say it don't make any sense because some persons swear by it that it is working for them. But I think the reason why it worked for them is because they make an earnest effort now to conserve. Other than the persons who are postpaid, the postpaid persons sometimes don't care. While the prepaid persons have to be vigilant. They have to remember that, look here, if you leave those appliances or things plugged in, it means a phantom electricity is going to pull the phantom electricity is going to pull from their the money that they have on the prepaid system. Well, I wouldn't say so them feel. They do make an effort to conserve because they know where the money going. So they do make an effort to conserve. So I wouldn't say it don't make any sense. It makes sense to persons who have a problem. It's just like joining a partners against joining a bank. Some persons can't save their money. So in order to get a lump sum money, they join a partner. While some persons can save, so they throw their money religiously every week or every month into a bank. So it's just like that. The persons who feel that they cannot conserve or they want assistance in conserving tend to use the prepaid system and they will swear by it. They will swear by it. Any more questions? Some buy cash, but to do what? To conserve? To conserve? Remember, no. Well, I don't buy cash pot. No, you can't buy cash pot to conserve to save your money. It's just going to go down the drain. All right. We reached the hour. It was a good discussion. I enjoyed it. The We're going to look on another aspect of it next week. Yeah, next week. We're going to look at another aspect of it. Hopefully, I can find some prices and those prices will be beneficial. I can tell you off how much my grid tied system can or how much it did save me if I should compare another month with an, a similar month bill with my current month light bill. I honestly did it when I just started for the first year, and I did see some drastic savings right there. And the savings were as a result of using the grid tied system, and especially during the day when I'm pulling from my panels and not the power company. So it works. Thank you for joining the live. Um, my suggestion to you, if you can't go solar all at once due to the cost, try for it incrementally. It works. It works. You will get the benefit of it. You will get the benefit of it if you go solar incrementally. The benefit is there. It depends on which system you really want to get. I know that most persons, when they think about going solar, is one system them think about, They think about only going solar where them not have nothing to do with the light people. And like I tell you, that was my choice too. I wanted to do that. However, my pocket would not allow me to. So I had to choose the cheapest way out. And if you're looking on it too in terms of cost, the cheapest one will be the grid tied. That's the cheapest. While the second one would have been the off grid, right? So you have the grid tied. In terms of the cheaper option, it's a grid tied, the off grid, and then the hybrid. The hybrid is the most expensive one. And like I said, I think the hybrid really got that because of it having two the two sections, there combining into one. That's what makes it, that's what give it the cost. And remember, I tell you that the batteries are what are the most expensive things for the other two systems. All right, we're going to end the live here. If you have any question when the live come up, you can make your comment and I'll be sure to answer. You can leave your comment, please. Leave your comment if you have any, and whatever assistance I can offer, then I'll be sure to get back to you. Remember, we're not only trying to save on electricity, we do water as well. With the water one as well, especially now that we're having this drought, you can go back, look on some of the vlogs, and it will tell you what I do in order to conserve my water. I have not watered the grass. I think there is a restriction on the amount of things that you can do with your water at this point. So until then, yes, guys, please give the thumbs up. You're coming on, just give a thumbs up. It will be appreciated. So until then I'll speak with you in the chat or otherwise, for those who know me otherwise. Thank you for joining and have a good night.